Digital Story by Karina Marentes. I was born in Jalostotitlan, Jalisco, Mexico. Jalos is near Guadalajara. I spent 14 years of my life in Jalos. I only knew the Spanish language. I only knew my traditions and roots that my family had, and I never traveled outside my city. When I was 6 months, my dad immigrated to United States. He had different jobs, like he would work in the field, he worked washing dishes, and he is a musician since he was 18 years old. Because of his hard work, he was able to bring all the family to San Jose, California together. We took a plane from Guadalajara to San Jose, the last 3 hours and a half. A month later, he registered me to Mount Pleasant High School. I remember that we walked in the office and somebody just gave me my schedule because nobody speaks Spanish that day. So basically, they just asked me to go to my class. I went to my class, I knocked the door, the teacher opened the door, and she started asking me questions. I just kept looking at her because I didn't speak English. As soon as she finished, I walked in the back of the classroom because it was an empty seat. Few minutes later, it was recess time. I saw everybody running and I didn't know what was happening. I just saw people running, and since I haven't seen something like that in my town, I was frustrated. And later, I find out that they ran to the cafeteria. I got scared and then I went home. I was so frustrated, I was in tears, I was crying, and my dad asked me what happened. So I told him that it was hard for me because nobody speaks Spanish, nobody explained me what was happening, and nobody let me know what I had to do next, what was my next class. The next day, he took me back. But this time, somebody in the office speak a little bit of Spanish. So she was able to talk to my counselor and she gave me the classes that I needed. And she took me to my first ELD class. It was only 5 students. They all speak Spanish. I finally was able to make friends. But most important, somebody was there to translate for us because the teacher only speaks English. In my ELD class, we would use 3 methods. First one, we would use grammar translation method because I remember that the teacher would give us a green page full of verbs in the 3 different tense. And she would explain the past, present, and past. Also, we were using the audio lingual method because we use a lot of dialogues. She will, sometimes she would text us to see how much we understood from that dialogue. And we also use the direct method because when I was in ELD 3, the teacher will ask us to speak only English because if we would speak Spanish, the teacher would make us do extra work. After 2 years, I was translating for my dad. My dad does not speak English even though he's been here for a long time ago. I remember he would take me to the bank and I would help him do his transactions. Also, in parent and teacher conference, I was able to translate for him. Now I speak 2 languages. Since all my brothers and sisters came at once, we all learn English at the same pace. So, first generation, mom and dad, they only speak Spanish. Second generation, It's my brothers and my sister. And we speak English and Spanish. When we communicate, we go back and forth from Spanish to English, English to Spanish. And my third generation is my son, daughter, nephew, and nieces. They mostly speak English. And then my son has trouble to communicate with my mom because sometimes my mom would ask him something and he would be, "Mom, what is my grandma saying?" So I had to translate for him. And now I understand when people say if you don't use it, you lose it, which means that I'm realizing that I need to start speaking Spanish more to my son and my daughter so they don't lose the Spanish.